Hey guys, so we are starting our next unit today. So the next unit is actually when we are going to talk about ratios and rates. So you're going to need your math notebook out to take some notes, and you're actually going to need your textbook. We are going to use our books today. So getting out our textbook, page 149 is where we are going to start. So ratios and rates is actually one of my favorite units to teach. I feel like I use these a lot in real life, and they're cool. I love them. The work is very easy and straightforward, and I'm going to show you how great they are, okay? So opening our textbooks to page 149, and that's actually where your warm-up is. So pause the video at this point if you don't have your book at page 149 yet, because I'm going to keep going, okay? So a ratio is actually, the book calls it a comparison of two quantities, and it's really just a comparison of two numbers. Quantities is just a fancy word for comparing two numbers. So it shows how many times as great one quantity is than the other. So, for example, a ratio of star-shaped beads to moon-shaped beads, right here, in the bracelet is 3 to 1. So order matters when we're talking about ratios. They want to know what the ratio of star-shaped beads, there's 3, star-shaped beads, 2, moon-shaped beads, which is 1. So that's how they got the ratio, 3 to 1, okay? So ratios are kind of like rules. Every time you have 3 stars, you have to have 1 moon. It's like a rule. They go together like that, okay? So to get you started thinking about ratios, I want you to complete A, B, C, and D on this page for your warm-up, okay? So you are going to pause the video, and then when you come back, I will go over it. So pause and work on those 4 problems for me. Okay, you should be back, ready to go because you did all those problems. So if they are asking for the ratio of moon beads to star beads, like I said, order matters. So how many moon beads are there? There's 1, 2 star beads, which is 3. So the ratio of moon beads to star beads is 1, 2, 3. Write the ratio of moon beads to all beads. So there is 1 moon, 2, 4 beads total. So the ratio would be 1, 2, 4. Okay? So see, if the bracelet has 2 moon beads, how many star beads does it have? So I think drawing a picture definitely helps this situation, and you're going to get to see how good of a drawer I am right now. So like I said, that ratios are like rules. Every time there's 3 stars, there has to be 1 moon. But it also goes in reverse. Every time there's 1 moon, 3 stars come with it. So they're asking if there are 2 moon beads. Well, if I would add another moon bead to this lovely set, check out that moon. If I add another moon, I have to do 3 stars because that's the rule. So if I have 2 moon beads, that would give me 6 star beads. Okay, sometimes drawing pictures with ratios helps give you a good visual and helps you understand it, and go for it. I like to draw pictures too. I'll do that a couple times for you this unit. Okay? So D, if the bracelet has 9 star beads, how many moon beads does it have? Okay, so we can kind of like extend our picture here. So we have 6 stars right here. We figured out. Go with 2 moons. Well, if I would add 3 more stars, I would have 9 stars, and I'd have to add another moon to go with my 3 stars. So if I have 9 stars, 3, 6, 9, then I have 3 moonbeads. So I would say that if there are 9 star beads, there has to be 3 moon beads, since does not have an S, since there is 1 moon bead for every 3 star beads. Okay? And that's kind of just how you would explain it. Just 1 moon for every 3 stars. Okay? Okay. So hopefully you got some of them right and kind of had an idea of how ratios are going to work. So today we're just going to keep it easy and just kind of like identify ratios and talk about them. So we're going to skip the reflect and we are going to go to page 150. So go to page 150 for me. And we're going to talk about how to write ratios. So the 2 numbers in a ratio are actually called terms, and it can be written in several different ways. So we don't really ever write it like this, like the book gives you this way. So you can write the ratio is 5 dogs to 3 cats. We don't really ever put labels on them, but you're more than welcome to. I'm actually going to show you how I label them to make it easy. This way we wrote in the warm-up. 3, 2, or 5, 2, 3, using the word 2. So this is actually how we usually say ratios. That's how we say them most of the time. The 5, 2, 3 with the colon in between them, that's how we usually write ratios. So if I were to say that the ratio of boys to girls in my classroom is 8 to 5, that's how I would write that. So notice I said it with the word 2, but I just write the colon instead of the word 2, because mathematicians kind of like to write as least as possible, like a lot of you guys. So you guys are all mathematicians, okay? And then the last way to write it should look familiar. This is actually how we do work with ratios, okay? It should look like a fraction, okay? It looks like a fraction, but I promise it's not, okay? It kind of behaves like a fraction, which we'll talk about today, but it's not the same thing as a fraction, okay? So those 3 are going to be the main ways that we write ratios. We say it with the word 2, we write it with the colon, and then we do work with it in a fraction form, okay? So to give you some examples of ratios, which, I forgot to talk about the most confusing part about ratios. Okay, so a ratio can compare a part to a part to a whole, or a whole to a part. Okay, and I'm going to go over that and give you some examples of all of that. So I'll show you, once I give you examples, hopefully that'll make more sense. So let's go back to my 8 to 5 ratio. I said there were 8 boys for 5 girls in the class. So this ratio compares a part to a part. So this is a P to P ratio, okay? Just because part of the class is boys, part of the class is girls. So you're comparing 2 different parts of a whole. I could also say that there are 8 boys to 13 total students. So that would be comparing a part, which is the boys are part of the class, to the whole class. So that is a part to whole comparison, okay? I don't really test you on that, but it's just good to know in case it ever comes up on the PSSAs. So I always like to go over it. So you literally just have to think about what you're comparing. Are you comparing a part, or are you comparing like the whole of the situation? okay? So a couple examples for you under example 1 here in your book. A says to write the ratios of comedies to dramas in 3 different ways. So if you look over in your chart, there are 8 comedies, so it's 8 to 3 dramas. So the ratio is 8 to 3. And they wrote it just 3 different ways. They used the colon, they wrote it to look like the fraction, and then they just used it with the labels, okay? And that is a part-to-part comparison because part of the movies are comedies and part of the movies are dramas. B says to write the ratio of dramas to total videos. So there are 3 dramas to how many total videos? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 total videos. So the ratio would be 3 to 14. And then this would be a situation where it would be part to whole because you're comparing part of all the videos, the dramas, to all of the videos. So the whole, okay? So at the bottom of page 150, I just want you to pause and try this on your own. It does ask you to write the ratio in 3 different ways. So you're just doing 5, 6, and 7 at the bottom of page 150. So pause the video, and when you come back, I'll have the answers for you. Okay, hopefully you are back with some ratios. So number 5 asks you to compare bagel chips to peanuts. The ratio of bagel chips to peanuts is 3 to 1. So you can write 3 to 1, 3 colon 3 to 1, or 3 to 1. Okay, if you got that right, good job. The next one, 6, is total party mix to pretzels. So you actually had to add up all the cups in the party mix, and you should have gotten 8. So the ratio is 8 to 3. 8 to 3 or 8 to 3, written like a fraction. And the last one, cheese crackers to peanuts, is 1 to 1. So there are all the ways you could have written it, okay? So hopefully that is easy enough. You're literally just comparing the 2 quantities, not super hard today.